Speaking of which, shout out in the chat if you know of a good brand for a 17-inch laptop backpack. I received a very nice laptop as a gift. I need to find a bag for it.
Sure. Do you really want like an over-the-shoulder type deal?
I think I want a backpack.
Okay. Like
Yeah,
the one that I have is really nice and is designed for that.
I looked up a messenger bag, and like I don't think I want that style. A lot of them are very businessy looking.
Yeah.
And
business in the front, party in the front.
Oh, he's playing the Metallurgic Summoning's Rise from the Tide deck.
You can tell that by Island, and I think in the gate.
Zach is, Jake has updated.
Oh, Jake has updated it. Okay.
Yeah, I can tell that by looking at the screen along with our viewers.
Okay. I just hadn't realized that Jake stopped being lazy and updated the deck.
See, this is the kind of deck, like, if this deck had a remove soul style effect, it would be very, very good.
That's an interesting position to hold.
All right. The problem is that like its payoff cards cost 6.
Right.
So you really have to have 9 mana in play to like cast your payoff card and then be able to respond to like their response to the payoff card, whatever.
Okay. I think once you get your payoff card, you don't really care what they do.
Okay.
Like, there aren't a lot of answers. I mean, unless you're playing, like, another control deck like this, then you don't really care about leaving mana up.
Right. Yeah, I guess Metallurgic Summoning's Go isn't, like, amazing, but Rise from the Tide's Go is?
Yeah, you don't have to worry about, like, infinite combos or anything. Just...
What about Quicken?
Quicken?
Let's put Quicken in this format. What do you think about that?
And nobody would play it, but sure. I like Quicken.
You don't think you'd Quicken Rise from the Tides?
No.
All right.
7 mana? Come on.
All right. Pieces of you. Pieces of me. Chad wants no piece of that card.
Yeah. I'll take mine too. I have delirium. Oh, okay, that's necessary.
Alright. So Zach's announced Delirium. Counts up to 7 cards.
So
in
Chad
hand.
better hope that he does not miss any land drops, because Zach sure as heck isn't. He missed the 4th land drop.
It doesn't matter though. This Murder is not a very impressive card in the matchup.
It's less a matter of that and more a matter of you need mana to win counter wars.
Right.
So they both have a bunch of counter spells in hand. So now Zach can just like casually resolve a Metallurgic Summonings if he wanted to.
Sure.
There's very little that Chad can do about it.
Yeah, we're looking at like 3 Void Shatters.
Right.
It's insane.
I think he's got 3 Void Shatters,
A
negate, some number of, I can't even, Part the Water Veil? Is it? Yeah, Part the Water Veils. Durdle also has 3 Void Shatters, 2 negates. The second negate might be a big deal here.
And a Torrential Gearhulk?
Yeah, Torrential Gearhulk's not really an issue, but the rest of these cards are huge.
Man, this is interesting. I think Zach's at 8 cards in hand, which kind of, Alright. Alright.
Oh, the negate. Why did he negate that?
The Glimmer?
Yeah. He should have Void Shattered it.
Why is that? I think
because Void Shatter costs 3 mana, and you're not doing anything else with the rest of your mana, and negate costs 2. So it's much easier to leave 2 mana up for a negate than 3 mana for a Void Shatter.
Oh, sure. So, like, when he goes to cast a big spell,
right,
having 2 is a lot better than having 3.
Alright, piece of the puzzle is just what the doctor ordered here. don't
And
know what Zach is doing here in
the
regards
interim,
to like trying to resolve spells, but
he's also selected to mismatch his lands in a grandiose fashion.
egregious. Why is he discarding instead of playing this
Pieces of the puzzle.
Like, I understand that you're gonna have to discard like one of the cards that you get anyway, or two of the cards you get.
Alright, so now Zach has 6 to play a Metallurgic Summonings.
But he doesn't have the 2 for the negate because he burned the negate early.
Interesting.
So now he needs a bajillion mana as opposed to just the 1.
Chad's going to try a Torrential Gearhulk here. It's not going to be successful. And I think he knows that as he casts these spells that they're going to be unsuccessful.
Right.
But you gotta spend those counter spells on something.
So Zach just drew the Torrential Gearhulk, and this is a big deal because he can force the issue at the end of Chad's turn and free up some mana.
I think Chad's just gonna say, I Void Shatter this Gearhulk.
That's fine.
And here's the thing, Chad's up to 8 mana now.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. He's got plenty. Plenty left.
But if you're Zach, you've got like triple Void Shatter, now double Void Shatter. You just need to get some action going. He has a billion bounce spells in hand.
Yeah.
Billion being 2 bounce spells in hand. Neither of those are going to do much here.
Right. I'm not sure what happened to our screen here.
We're just going to guess about what's going on.
My,
This didn't happen.
it said,
Nelson's messing with something because the Ethernet cable got damaged.
Oh.
what?
Keep it on HDMI 2. He's messing with the cable back there. The cable that connects to your internet got completely damaged.
Perfect.
Nothing's happening, by the way.
Yeah.
Alright, so just so you guys know our situation here, we don't have a visual, which it's only going to be temporary here, because we got the best producer, owner,
It's on HDMI too.
stream master.
Will you tell them to out there when you go back out? Will you tell them to say what they're doing?
Yeah. That's fine.
Don't actually do that. That would be miserable.
No, yes.
No.
All right, we got some action.
Doing the damage. Getting in some early combat.
All right, there we go.
And we're back. It looks like Chad has tapped out to resolve this Glimmer of Genius.
That's a big deal.
Looks like we missed the operative counter war. Not really. Chad's got a billion counters in hand still. I wonder what happened there.
Yeah, I don't see any new cards on top of Zach's graveyard either. All right.
Interesting.
I did not realize that this match was what we were going to look at when I selected it. So,
Okay. I believe you.
you guys are going to have to absolve me from this sin that I've committed.
Snap counter.
All right.
Oh, snap counter.
Yeah, so in the classic sense, your counterspell v counterspell matchups, you don't counterspell the draw cards. You counterspell the payoff cards
Correct.
because those are the only ones that matter.
Right.
So like the early negate on the first Glimmer of Genius was surprising, and the fact that he's letting these ones go now after he's committed himself to countering Glimmers.
Right. The early negate was surprising because he should have just void shattered it.
Yeah, I concur he played the wrong card, but like I'm saying counterspelling it at all is out of order in my mind.
Yeah, I think you want to counterspell all of them because it's not just card draw, it's card selection. And that's super important here because there's so many dead cards in Durdle's deck.
But
and so few operative cards.
But if you're Zach, you have way more counterspells than Durdle does.
Do you?
I'm pretty sure he's.
You don't.
You don't?
No.
I bet you he's on 4 Void Shatters, 4 Negates at least.
Durdle had like 4 Void Shatters in hand at one point.
All right. I just figured Chad is on a very low number of threats.
Okay.
And so it's much easier to counter the
I
threats.
think once Durdle starts throwing haymakers, you can easily just play something of your own.
This is fun. This is mental challenge.
Kill me.
All right.
You like creatures, we hate creatures.
Do something. Go ahead. Do anything.
No, I don't want to.
All right, so we've added a piece of the puzzle. This is a very important card in this matchup. I was very surprised that Zach discarded it. Like, you want to be able to fill your hand with answers for what Durdle's doing. And especially since you've had, like, Engulf the Shores in hand and Crush of Tentacles in hand. Like, getting those out of your hand and filling them with the more relevant cards is very important.
So you're valuing the selection in the matchup very highly.
It's so important because you've both got so many dead cards. So he discarded and Engulf the Shores there.
Right.
Whereas if he would have cast pieces of puzzle,
he
he's
could have filled up on 2 relevant cards and discarded Engulf the Shores and.
a Crush of Tentacles.
Right.
Jake, you ready for action?
All right.
You ready to
So
fight over something?
Zach has announced that he's going to generate some action here.
Rise from the tides.
6 mana Rise from the Tides. This is the F&M promo version.
All right, so we're going to fight over a Rise from the Tides.
Here's the Void Shatter.
Void Shatter it. Void Shatter your Void Shatter.
And kudos to Chad here for making a nice looking stack for us to appreciate.
Void, anticipate in response to Void Shatter.
So anticipate can be a good sign and a bad sign here because it can either mean that you
Void Shatter, you're Void Shattering my Void Shatter, but Void Shatter that! And rebuff for the finale.
so you see Chad here has a counterspell that costs less than 3. If those Void Shatters were negates from Zach, he would have been able to.
Sure.
One egg. These 2 in exile. Correct. And this in the graveyard. Correct.
All right, so completely tapped out.
So Chad gets his chance to throw a punch here. Let's see what he's got for him.
He's going to draw go because Chad's decks are traditionally all answers and no questions. Hence the Durdle.
This is for the answers that don't have any questions. All right. Pieces. Show me the money.
All right, do we have any pieces? We have a part. That's a piece.
So part the water veil you really need to awaken it to make any kind of headway
Sure.
on winning the game. And if he were to awaken it, he only leave himself 2 untapped.
That's fine. He's got more parts in hand. And if you pair each part with a counterspell in Durdle's hand, like, you're fine with that.
Sure.
Durdle only has so many counterspells, and he's burned all of his Void Shatters. 1 Revolutionary Rebuff. And if you've got the 2 mana open at the end of this, that's fine.
Man, Torrential Gearhulk gets a sure. So this is going to be the... I'm surprised he didn't main phase this.
The Gearhulk?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a whole lot of reason to.
Well, Zach was tapped out.
I don't think Durdle needs this to resolve, and I don't think this resolving is the most relevant thing.
No response.
That was bizarre, but okay.
So he's playing around like a removal spell, I guess,
But why wouldn't you just flash back the Glimmer of Genius?
because you wanted to counter like a removal spell.
Yes, I'm at 15. Life
No,
total
no, no. So the triggered ability from Torrential Gearhulk puts the spell onto the stack.
Oh,
So you can't counter a spell that's not already there.
sure.
It's not like Snapcaster Mage where you can delay
Gotcha.
the casting of the spell.
All right, so Zach is left with a
I don't
bunch
want
of dead cards.
I'm gonna park the water bill with Awaken.
Alright, so Zach's going to wake him up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Alright. Here's another Gearhulk. Targeting the Void Shatter.
Yes.
Alright.
Fire Crush Tentacles. Surge.
Surge and Crescent Tentacles.
Can he do that? He didn't pay for the other Gearhulk.
Yeah.
Did
What?
he? Yeah, he did. You're
Yeah.
right. That was the previous turn.
Alright. Oh, man.
Awaken.
Alright. So we
All
have...
right, so now we have a giant island.
And it's... Not often do you get to murder an entire island.
But now you do.
I think the president of the Philippines is trying. Alright, so we've got running part the water veils here.
Yeah.
Next turn.
Yep. Untap. He's gonna... take another one here.
I think his draw was a Torrential Gearhulk.
Okay. Man, that makes life interesting.
Just sorry, playing a blue deck.
I would fire off, if it's for my turn, I would fire off Torrential Gearhulk, and if it resolves, I would target Rise from the Tides.
Can it target
Oh, no,
instant
no,
or
no.
sorcery?
It's instant
just
only,
instant.
I'm sorry. I think for Chad, you just gotta bash in, right?
So one of Zach's cards is was it Selective Summons? The target or bounce target tapped creature scry one.
Oh, select for inspection.
Select for inspection. So he doesn't want to bounce a Torrential Gearhulk, but he can technically survive.
I think we're gonna witness another murder. Judging by these 3 tap swamps.
Could be a Ruinous Path.
Could be Ruinous Path. Although if I had this much mana, I'd awaken that Ruinous Path.
Well, Zach's at 5. Awakening it just sets you up for a blowout.
Alright, he's going to find a ruinous path. Gearhulk is going to find a counterspell.
What was the draw there? I think it was another Rise from the Tides.
I think it's...
Oh, Scour the Laboratory.
It's one of my favorite cards from that limited environment. Got into a lot of stalled states.
Mm-hmm.
You could just scour the laboratory your way into the game.
Sure.
Very good at coming back from behind.
Is that another Scour the Laboratory in hand?
I don't know. I mean, this is a great way to get yourself back into these games. Is these draw 3.
Piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
Draw 2 business spells.
3, 4, 5. He declared, there it is, at some point in time.
Grip of Royal. Is that what that card is? Grip of the Royal? I don't know, man.
grip of the
Grip of the something.
Alright, so there you go. So what Chad's gonna do. Alright. Scour more laboratories. Decks like this, man, you need to scour the entire laboratory to get to.
So 5 cards remaining in the library.
Go ahead and piece of the puzzle again.
I don't want to do that.
And then scour the laboratory. One more time. Come on, you got the mana.
Yeah, I think Zach has put himself into a situation where he can't win the game here.
Anticipate.
Sure.
All right, so he's gonna look at 3 of the remaining
Look at
5 cards.
3 cards at the top 5 that we have.
So
left in our library.
when you get to look at 60% of your deck, you've either done something very right or very wrong.
Yeah. So he's drawn. He's anticipated into anticipate.
All right, so he's gonna anticipate. He's gonna look at 75% of his deck this time.
Anticipate.
All right.
So now he has seen his entire deck.
You get to see the same card in your library twice in a row. How often does that happen?
Well, I was 5. I didn't get to see it. But alright.
I really, really want to.
Yeah, this is one of those
I
oddball
wish
situations. Like if you
Limerick
get through your entire deck and don't win the game, you either need to evaluate how you played the game
Take order
or your
matters.
deck building
We'll take this card
skills.
in this order.
Anticipate again?
No.
No.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna play an island. And
Pass the turn.
yes.
All right, so Zach passes the turn. He's got 3 cards left in his library.
Yeah.
So he really only can do that 2 more times.
So one of the cards is a Torrential Gearhulk, and it's second from top, I believe.
Okay.
Gearhulk? Sure.
Right, Gearhulk. He's got to find an actual target here.
Void Shatter.
Yeah, we're getting to the point in the game where like I would want to see everyone that he targets.
Yeah.
Untap.
So this is going to be Island, I believe. Yep.
Yep.
And then Torrential Gearhulk is next.
I know what these are.
I'm sure you do.
All right. So this is really kind of
I am
messed
fine.
up.
You have 1 card in hand.
I do. One swell card.
Chad has a card in hand, and I'm sure he cannot wait to sideboard.
Yeah. It's a land. The card in Chad's hand.
Because like he gets to take out like 8 or 9 cards.
If he has 8 or 9 cards to bring in.
I would have put them in the correct order, right?
Can I call a judge on No, no. On my opponent? I'm just being
Chad's talking about calling for slow play.
Fairly certain I did this right.
I haven't seen any slow play, but
okay, well now the
I mean, it's been a little deliberate, but he's just gone through his entire deck.
Well,
That was gross.
I am doing this regardless. I am Grip of the Royal.
you gonna tap this one.
Yeah, it doesn't untap during your next tap phase. I have to draw a card. I'm gonna Grip the Royal for Surge.
Okay.
Draw a card.
Okay.
Okay, so he's
And I'm gonna swing. Did I get it?
all right. So he had to grip of the royal. Lets him draw a card. Forces him to draw a card. Really.
Forces him to draw a card.
So he had to make sure he had enough cards left in his library.
Yeah.
All right, Zach. So if you could sideboard instead of being theatrical,
Yeah.
so that we can move the match along, that would be ideal.
That would be just peachy.
All right, so Zach wins. Chad's gonna get to take out probably Grasp of Darkness is where it starts.
Yeah, probably just take out 4 grasps. I don't know what's in his sideboard, though. Like I said, it entirely depends on what he can bring in. Because if you're just replacing dead cards with dead cards, then there's no point.
Right. I would replace it with any piece of action.
Any piece of action. I don't know if you know this about Durdle's decks, but he doesn't play pieces of action.
I would literally want like Hedron Crawler.
He doesn't have those. The card doesn't even attack for
Does it
damage.
have 0 power?
Yeah, it's a 0/1, so that's
Alright,
not next. He
alright.
might play that card.
All right.
I'd imagine he's going to sideboard out 4 Grasp of Darkness and 2 Murders for 4 Planeswalkers, and it'll be 2 of 1 and 1 of 2 other Planeswalkers,
Okay.
and 2 Negates.
There you go. I like it.
That's his sideboard.
I like that prediction.
Um,
Planeswalker's a strong card.
Sure. So Zach's sideboard, he's taking out these Engulf the Shores.
Okay.
He's replacing them with Negates and Dispels.
Sure.
So I think he's got 2 Negates and 1 Dispel, maybe 2 and 2. I think his sideboard's a little bit more light, but I think it's better for him.
All right.
He might have a second Jace in the board, in which case that's coming in as well. Probably over a Crush of Tentacles.
Noted.
But yeah, Engulf the Shores is the first one out. Crush of Tentacles is the second one out. And we'll see both of their decks in their entirety in Game 2, so we'll definitely know if I was correct.
Do you think the match completes 2 games?
Yes.
All right.
There are fewer deck cards, so this one will go faster, but it's not going to get a third game.
Concur. Game 3 is entirely out.
Yeah, it's out of the
just-
question.
Yeah, the best Chad can imagine here is a draw, especially if he's gonna like durdle around on his phone.
That's what he does. He's the Durdle. It's in his name.
I'm putting Zachary Harris in my mental database of people to never put on camera again. I don't mind a control deck matchup.
No, yeah.
But,
I
like,
mean,
I
control matchups are fine, but you have to know what the operative spells are and just like draw, go, and like know.
Right, know what you're doing.
Right.
It's like watching a football game in a way. There's short bursts of excitement, and then sometimes it's just dead and
All right.
So now that you know these matchups, or this matchup, what you're playing against, how you keep versus mulligan is pretty big.
I think the range of keeps widens.
You think it widens?
Yeah, I would keep like 6 lands and a counterspell.
I would snap keep 6 lands in a counterspell,
Right.
but I wouldn't keep 2 lands and 5 business spells.
Would you keep 2 lands and 2 anticipates?
No.
All right.
I want minimum 4 lands in my opening hand.
Sure.
My opening 7. Probably settle for 6 on or 3 on 6.
All right.
All right, now we played Whack-A-Mole with Zach's deck. You can draw 6.
Season of Gate.
So
2
this one's
lands.
2 lands. I'm not happy about this, honestly. It's not a land. It should go immediately to the bottom.
So if Chad plays this right, he should slow roll cracking this Evolving Wilds forever.
Yeah.
Because you just want to keep all the lands. Like drawing lands is a good thing in this situation.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got... I mean, honestly, one Evolving Wilds doesn't change the math dramatically enough to where, like,
Right.
holding it open is
Right.
significant.
Right.
But he may just have, like, a turn 2 play that he wants to have up.
Yeah, an anticipate or something.
Yeah, he could have a hand that's very reliant on a turn to anticipate.
All right. Anticipate's going to resolve for Zach.
Keeps the land.
Keeps
Keeps the
the
other
land.
2 on the bottom.
I'm making the orders right because this could go. Untap, draw.
All right.
Land. Pass.
4th land for Chad.
4th land for Zach. Ripping him off the top.
Keep the passing up. Chad gets to 5. Zach's going to get to 5 here, it looks like.
Man. Some pretty sicko draws for Zach.
Yeah, man. Those 2 running lands were really important. I wouldn't be surprised if Chad tried to stick a glimmer of genius in the end step here. Now that he has potential to gate up.
Man.
Metallurgic summons. Man, he just went
Choosing
for it.
now to pick the fight. So, I do like this. But not on this turn.
Here's Revolutionary Rebuff. Not
So-
Void Shatter.
When I play against, like, a control matchup, I think I was playing against Durdle playing control a couple Fridays ago. And he had... Like, he was very much setting up his draws so that he could resolve a turn 4 Glimmer of Genius.
Right.
And so sometimes you just have to, like, jam out threats into counter spells just so he can't Glimmer. And
Oh,
so then
sure.
you can resolve your threat when he's forced to Glimmer.
Oh, I see.
So I was, like, throwing Gideons into, like, very obvious Void Shatters when he had, like, 4 mana up.
Yeah, you tend to play decks that have a particular threat density.
A particular threat density that's much higher than either of these decks.
Yes.
Although Zach's deck has a decent number of threats, just not many that he can represent on 5.
Right. I think we're going to see Torrential Gearhulk.
Yeah, I like Torrential Gearhulk here. He's fired off.
So Zach has found a wrinkle in Chad's plan. Is that he has swamps to contend with.
With after the enter the battlefield trigger.
So he says, how many blue do you have up? So even though Chad has 7 lands in play, 8, I'm sorry, only
Some of those
4 of those are
swamps.
blue.
Yeah.
And so this can limit the number of and specific spells that Chad can play.
Absolutely.
So he might have a chance to overload him here since Chad's draw is fairly black. Here's Metallurgic summons.
So if Chad only has this Void Shatter, that's great news for Zach because now you can negate it. And now this Metallurgic summons has stuck. Like, that's it. Chad does not have a way to deal with this.
Right.
So this could have been the operative turn.
Yeah, so every time he casts a spell, he's going to get a guy. And then at some point in time, he can get back every spell he's cast this game. Everything that's in his graveyard gets to come back.
Yeah, I don't think that's really a thing you want to be doing.
What's gonna happen? You don't think that's gonna happen?
No, I think he's gonna play spells. Just play normal Magic now. Force out more spells than you need to, just to get enough artifacts to first overwhelm this Lily and second take down Chad's life total.
So he looks at ceremonious rebuttal.
I'm keeping the ceremonious rejection and the void shatter here.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the only target Chad has for that card is void shatter.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Counter target void shatter.
If you have a 1 mana counterspell to something Chad's investing 3 mana in,
You're happy about it?
yep.
All right.
Man, keeping part the Water Veil.
He is. Zach is very excited about the things his deck does.
Okay, that's fair. He has another Void Shatter in hand, to be fair.
Yeah, and a negate looks
And
like.
Summary Dismissal and...
All right, here's a Torrential Gearhulk.
Gets another 3/3.
So many guys.
Yeah, and he's got so many cards compared to Chad as well.
I might even just ignore Liliana and just start attacking Chad.
No, you need to get this Liliana down.
Oh man, this isn't good when Chad's oh man, maybe this is fine. He could just be playing to ultimate this Liliana.
Yeah, no, that's definitely got to be his out here.
He knows that Zach can't apply enough pressure, and a Liliana ult is humongous.
Sure.
Especially when you're at 20, like you can take a hit and let your zombie army get really big.
So here's part the Water Veil. Gets...
Rebuffed and rebuffed.
So we have a
gets
6/6 and a 1/1. So his 1/1's just going to die to the Lily, but Lily's dead unless Chad's willing to sacrifice this Torrential Gearhulk.
I think he is. So Lily is going to take one because I'm sure it targeted the
Well, it's going to take...
3/3.
Yeah, it did target the 3/3, so it's going to take 2, potentially.
Okay.
But Zach could just swing at it with a 6/6 and force the issue here.
Just, you want to attack first. That's step 1. Alright, everybody attacks Liliana. Okay, so Chad, I think that was the right place to give up on Liliana.
Yeah, you don't really have an opportunity there. Passing turn instead of playing this piece of the puzzle is greedy, but you have the advantage here.
Yeah, I think he's got a Torrential Gearhulk in hand.
He does.
And so he's probably just going to cast that and replay Void Shatter. No, just cast the Void Shatter, you get the trigger.
Yeah.
Alright, so Chad's scooping him up. He realizes that the Metallurgic summons is game over in his world.
Yeah, he got the... he resolved the Metallurgic summons through Chad's counterspell wall, and that was it.
Yep.
All it takes is the 1.
We're going to run quick here so that we can go scout and find a much more...
I think Taylor's going to go pee in between
No, I don't
rounds.
have to pee. I do want to scout so I don't have to sit through another match like this again.
I think Jake's been doing scouting while this has been going on because it's so boring. I've seen him like walking in the background.
Oh, good.
And I just assumed you needed to pee because your leg has been shaking like...
No, I'm trying to keep myself
like a damn
alert
earthquake.
so I don't like just stop talking and leave you alone
No, I mean,
in the void.
if I were anybody else here with me, I would have left myself alone in the void. So I wouldn't blame you. But
right.
There you have it. Zachary Harris takes it down. If Metallurgic Rise is your thing, congratulations. You just saw the one and only time we're going to put it on camera tonight.
Zachary Harris, pick a different deck or you'll never be on camera again.
I mean, it's a fun deck. It's whatever. You just need to play it more to get used to it.
All right.